Welcome to the second Committee Chair Insider. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I'm so grateful for each of you. Thank you for the many ways that you have served the Lord through the Mission of Young Life in 2019. God has done incredible things in the lives of so many kids this year, and much of that is because of our phenomenal leaders in our areas who go and reach kids and get to know them by name. You know that we know nearly 15,000 kids by name across our region. I think that's incredible. I am absolutely celebrating that at the end of this year, and I am so excited to see how God allows us and helps us to reach more kids this year. Thank you for being a big part of that and sending leaders and doing a lot of the work that it takes to send out leaders every day into your community. This fall, nearly 1,400 kids showed up at our fall weekends. We had 2 high school weekends down at Rockbridge, and we had a middle school weekend at North Bay. 1,400 students from all across the region hearing about Jesus, many asking questions, getting to know him for the first time, and it really was incredible to see God moving on our weekends. And so thank you. I'm really grateful for you. There's a lot here in this email, and I can't wait for you to jump in and to look over some of it. I'm just going to encourage you now to take some time over the next week or so to listen to the podcast and read through some of the information below. I know it's a lot, and so you probably can't do it all in one sitting, so please take a little bit of time and look over the resources below, share it with the rest of your committee, specifically share some of this with your TDS chair, and I'll tell you why in just a minute, and also talk with your staff person about it and what this has to do with you and your area and your committee right now and today, what you can begin to implement. So I want to talk for just a minute about Committee Leader Weekend. It's right around the corner, February 14th through 16th. You know we're gathering in Richmond, and it will be all of us together. It'll be committee and our leaders from all across the region. It will also be, we're also inviting, and I want to encourage you to invite anybody who's thinking about joining your team or who you'd like to invite to join your team. This will be a great weekend for them to see and experience Young Life and to get to know the people of Young Life all across the capital region. So if you haven't already registered yourself, please do that today. We want to know that you're coming, and I really hope that you're coming. It will not be the same without you there with your team. So I want to encourage you to register and send out some reminders in the next few days to the rest of your committee and to anyone else that you want to invite. I know how hard it is to get people to sign up and register for anything, and I also realize that it's going to take some work on your part, so thank you in advance. Please take some of the details below and forward those on today or in the next few days to your committee and encourage them to register before January 10th. We want to have as many people signed up and registered by that time so that we know who's coming, and I hope it's all of you and your teams. And I'll just say one more thing, that there will be time. Our team has worked so hard. Let me say a couple things. Our team has worked so hard to prepare seminars and time that will be relevant for you and the rest of your committee. So know that there will be seminars tailored for committee members. And there will be time for you with your committee to spend time with the leaders in your area, which is absolutely invaluable. I know a lot of you don't get a lot of that time back at home. So we're carving that out on our Committee Leader Weekend for you to do that. So make sure you sign up. All right, well, I'm going to talk a little bit about relationship-centered engagement. This is something new in Young Life. You might have heard us talk about this at the Committee Chair Summit, RCE, which is replacing TDS, which is the acronym for Taking Donors Seriously, which we've adopted that model in Young Life for many, many years now. But RCE is a new curriculum, and essentially new fundraising curriculum that's better suited and more tailored for the mission of Young Life. We are an incarnational mission. We do incarnational ministry with students, with kids, and so our new model of donor engagement also matches that incarnational model. So you'll see a lot of the model of TDS still carry over, and those principles still apply. We're not by any means throwing all of that out. It's just been retailored and redesigned a bit to better fit Young Life. So I hope you will get to know RCE with me and with your staff person over these next few weeks. So there's some details down below listing out the six pillars of RCE, and read a little bit about those. There are the prayer team, stewardship journey, engagement teams, ministry vision, strategy and plan, and an annual campaign. So you'll get to know a little bit about those below. And then I have also linked for you a podcast on each of those on this incredible website, which I hope you will take some time to look at and share with the rest of your committee. It's ylfundinghelp.org. It's a ministry, it's a Young Life website, all about fundraising, run by Pat Rhodes and Greg Lehman, who are field development staff people in Young Life, and they have some remarkable and very helpful podcasts on there for us. So I've linked one at the very top for you, which will cover the 5 pillars of RCE so that you can become familiar with them. And there's individual ones that will give you more in-depth information about each of them. So what do we do with RCE and why is it important? It is a new model and way of thinking for us. It's biblically based. And again, you will see crossover and carryover from TDS, which is good. It means it's not all new, but this is helpful for you to become familiar with and the rest of your committee, so that as you think about donor engagement, even follow up from year-end asks and giving, that we're becoming aware of a new way of thinking about engaging with donors in our community and relationship with donors in our community as well. So this is relevant information for you, for your staff person, and for the rest of your committee. If you have a TDS chair, it'd be helpful for them to also take some time and listen to these podcasts with you and to brainstorm on how you and the rest of the committee can roll out some of these new principles and ways of thinking this year. Let me know if you have any questions about it. I am excited for you to get to know this new model of RCE. So see that below. One last thing I'll tell you, and then I'll let you get to the email. I am planning, along with the regional leadership team, an Israel trip in April of 2021. Some of you know that I had the opportunity to go to Israel about 6 months ago with the divisional Young Life team, and it was a remarkable experience. Probably the best training experience, if you can call it that I've ever had since being on Young Life staff, and quite honestly, one of the most transformative experiences as a follower of Jesus. And I really would like for your staff person to have that same experience, and to have that experience, that training experience, that discipleship and growth experience with the rest of our Young Life team in the region. So we're planning a regional Israel trip. Any of our full-time staff who've been on staff for 3 years or more as of 2021 are invited to join that trip and to be a part of it. And so I am encouraging your staff person, if they fit in that category, to come. And they're thinking about it. They just heard about that opportunity about 2 weeks ago. And so they'll probably bring that up and talk with you about that as well. There is a way that we can begin to budget for that trip so that we can take funds out in increments and not have to pay all at once in 2021. And that's what I want to encourage you to consider and to look at with your staff person. If you have any questions about that trip and or how we can budget for it and how it can be paid for, please let me know. Spouses are also invited to join. If your staff person is married, spouses are invited. And so I just want you to know that as well. Everyone will have a different way that the trip will be covered, but I would encourage you to consider how your area can help pay for your staff person to go on this trip. So thank you for taking time to look through this email. If you have any questions about any of this, let me know. I'm so grateful for you. Happy New Year.